If you're thinking about selling your home and buying your next one at the same time, you already know the question that keeps you up at night. What happens if I sell and can't find the right home in time? Nobody wants to end up in a hotel or an Airbnb, or worse yet, moving twice. You don't want to be pressured to accept the first house that comes along just because the clock is ticking. I'm Peter Morkel, and I've been helping homeowners here in Utah County navigate exactly this situation for over 20 years. I want to show you how my clients sell their current home and move into their next one without ever living in limbo in between. Most agents will tell you, don't worry, we'll figure out the timing. But timing isn't something you leave to chance. It's something you engineer in advance. Over the past decade, I've closed dozens of transactions where we've coordinated the purchase and the closing, both here in Utah County and elsewhere in the state. I've seen what happens when timing isn't planned carefully, when it's left to chance, and I've built a process specifically so that my clients never experience that. The method is simply called the Synchronized Selling System. And I'm going to go into detail now and explain exactly how it works so that you can be confident that you too can have a positive outcome. Here's how it works in 3 simple steps. Step 1, we map your move. Before we list your home or make a single offer, we sit down and build a complete picture of your timeline. We want to know exactly what your equity situation is and what your target home looks like. We know what you're selling and what you're buying before you pull the trigger. Step 2, we'd go to market in proper sequence. I coordinate your listing strategy and your purchase offer so that both transactions are moving in a parallel track. We use contract contingencies, data such as days on market, closing date alignment, and lender coordination to keep everything in sync. Step 3, you close on both in the same timeline. You hand over the keys to your old home and pick up the keys to your new one back to back. No hotel stay, no storage unit, no second move. Just one clean transition. Let me tell you about Sean. Sean had spent decades building his medical practice in southern Utah. He was a highly accomplished professional. When he decided to sell his practice and stepped into the next chapter of his life, he knew that he didn't want to leave things to chance. They needed a new home, not necessarily a smaller one, just a home better suited to their current situation. The home that was perfect for raising kids was no longer the right space for them when grandkids were coming back to visit. Plus, they wanted single-level living with a master suite on the main level. The challenge? Sean is the kind of person who plans everything. Perhaps you can relate. The idea of selling a home and not knowing exactly what the next move was just wasn't something he could accept. So we used the synchronized sales system. We mapped out his full transition in advance from southern Utah to Utah County. We lined up both transactions perfectly and coordinated the entire process so that he was able to move out of his first home and into his new home directly. Him and his wife were thrilled with the outcome. No gap, no stress, and no compromise on the new home just to make the timing work. He said to me afterwards, I didn't realize how smooth this could be. I really thought it was going to be more complicated, and it just wasn't. And then there's Eric. Eric had spent his entire career here in Utah County, had been a professional for over 30 years, the kind of career you build over decades, methodically and with discipline. When it was finally time to step back, he wanted to make a move down to St. George where he could bike, experience the outdoors, go golfing at Black Desert, all the things he had really wanted to do. He wasn't ready to retire completely. He had an idea for a small business he wanted to start, but the challenge was that with significant equity in his home here in Utah County and a community he had been part of for years, picking up and moving to a new market while also trying to time the sale of his current home seemed like a lot to coordinate on his own. So we built a plan. We used the synchronized sales system to handle both sides of the move, marketing his home here in Utah County strategically to maximize the return on the equity that he'd built, while simultaneously getting in position to move quickly on the right property in St. George before the market moved on him. So it worked out beautifully. Eric and his wife closed on their home in St. George on the same day that they closed on their sale, and we built out a window for them to be able to move their goods from the one to the other. They moved from one home to a vacant home, and it worked out perfectly. He can now go biking around Red Mountain, and he walked straight from one chapter into the next, the capital from his sale completely intact, with his new base camp ready to go and his small business waiting to be built. I chatted to him and his wife a couple of weeks ago, and believe it or not, they're going to be making yet another move because they now have extended family living with them, and they're going to be buying another property just not too far from where they are with a little casita. If this sounds like the kind of experience you want, if you're a busy professional that doesn't want to leave your next chapter to chance, then we need to talk. Let's have a free 20-minute transition planning call. We'll look at your current home, your equity position, your ideal timeline, and exactly how the synchronized sales system can be put to work for you. No pressure, no obligation, just a clear plan so you can move forward with confidence. I'll see you on the call.